Awards week in Major League Baseball continues. Cy Young handed out on Wednesday, and Blue Jays lefty Robbie Ray was a near unanimous selection, earning 29 of the 30 possible votes. Garrett Cole received 1. Ray had a breakout season after leading Major League Baseball in walks 1 year ago. He led Major League Baseball in strikeouts this past season with 248, posted an AL best 2.84 ERA over 193 innings. And consider this, he was an 80-1 long shot at the All-Star break to win the Cy Young. He was on a 1-year deal in Toronto. Now he goes into free agency as a Cy Young winner. Ray wins the first Cy Young of his career, and so does Brewers righty Corbin Burnes, edged out Zach Wheeler for the NL Cy Young. Burnes led Major League Baseball with a 2.43 ERA. A historic season for Burnes, set a big league record, striking out 58 batters before issuing his first walk this season. And in September, he pitched the first 8 innings of a combined no-hitter with Josh Hader against Cleveland. Both 50-1. Those were the odds for both Robbie Ray and Corbin Burnes on opening day. And the long shots winning the Cy Young Awards, respectively, in each of their leagues. Again, Robbie Ray led Major League Baseball in strikeouts with 248. Corbin Burnes led Major League Baseball in ERA at 2.43. Well, CBS Sports baseball writer Matt Snyder. And Matt, MLB Awards Week continues here with the Cy Young. I want to start with Robbie Ray because this is such an interesting story, as is Corbin Burnes. But Robbie Ray on a 1-year deal. The Blue Jays bring him back, right? He leads Major League Baseball in walks a year ago, and then 1 season later leads Major League Baseball in strikeouts. What did you think was different for Robbie Ray this past season?
Yeah, he made a mechanical adjustment. They had him following through a lot more, so he got a little bit more run on the fastball. He was more down in the zone. He missed high a lot the last few years. That was one of his biggest problems, was missing high. Got a little bit more follow through. Finished a lot better down a lot further down the mound. And he got a lot of low strikes, and he got a lot of swing and miss on the low strikes. So it was like we've seen the potential in him for years. And he had one great year with the Diamondbacks a few years ago, but he couldn't get out of his own way with the control. So it was kind of a perfect storm going to the Blue Jays, working with their pitching coaches and getting a little bit more of a follow through and finishing a lot better. And it just all came together. Perfect timing in front of free agency. I expect he's going to land a huge deal. I don't think this was a 1-year wonder. I really think the mechanical adjustment was the key. And he's always had, like I said, that kind of potential in that arm.
He was really fun to watch pitch for the Blue Jays, and certainly one of the reasons why the Blue Jays won 90-some games this season. Without him, they would have been lost. I mean, Hyun-Jin Ryu was not good this season. And then they pick up Jose Barrios, which they were hoping would catapult them into the playoffs. It didn't. However, they keep Barrios, as they just signed him to a massive deal. What does that mean now, though, for Robbie Ray?
I think they're going to go all in. I think they're going to try to bring Ray back. I think they're going to try to bring Marcus Semien back as well. I think they're going to kind of try to keep the band together because they have a lot of good young position playing talent. You get the full season of Barrios. I expect Ryu would bounce back. They might have 3 aces if they can bring Ray back. Now, he has a huge market, so it doesn't mean they're going to be able to retain him. But Toronto's a huge market, man, and they got fans back late in the year. The fans are really excited about this team. So I think they're going to do everything they can to bring him back, and I think they probably have a pretty good chance in doing so.
Yeah, if they bring him back, and you've got Robbie Ray, Jose Barrios, and Hyun-Jin Ryu atop that rotation, man, that's pretty lethal when you consider how good the AL East is. And you know the Blue Jays are one of those teams right on the cusp. Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Marcus Semien had an MVP season. Of course, the MVP award will be announced on Thursday. The NL Cy Young also announced on this night. Corbin Burnes wins his first Cy Young, and somewhat of a comeback story for him as well. You know, he battled COVID earlier in the season, missed some outings, but then he had this historic season. 58 strikeouts without issuing a walk, was part of the combined no-no with Josh Hader in September. How would you describe the season of Corbin Burnes in Milwaukee?
Well, it was exceptional. I was kind of surprised because the workload, 167 innings for a starter to win Cy Young, is pretty low. I would have to look it up, but that's got to be among the lowest totals in innings pitched. And you had Scherzer had a little bit more volume. I wondered about the narrative of Scherzer switching teams and being so good with the Dodgers. I thought maybe he would win. And Zach Wheeler had a ridiculous innings total. He pitched, I think it was 70 more innings than Burnes. So I was a little surprised that Burnes won, but his case on a rate basis which is ERA, Ks per nine, stuff like that. He definitely had the best case on a rate basis. I just didn't know if the volume was going to be there. But to have that many strikeouts in a low innings total, it's an unbelievable season. As you said, to strike out 58 before he even walked anybody is incredible.
What do you make of both Robbie Ray and Corbin Burnes? Were 50-1 long shots on opening day to win the Cy Young, and here we are talking about them each winning the award.
I think some of it was like because of 2020 being a shortened season and there was a lot of unexpected stuff. We didn't know how it would carry over into this year. But also, like, Burnes was a relative unknown coming into the season. He was pretty good last year, but he was still a relative unknown. And Ray had just been way too inconsistent throughout his career. And he finally, like I said, made the mechanical adjustment and put everything together. They had the talent, but they didn't really have the name recognition. So I don't think it's anything other than just kind of a coincidence. But it definitely makes sense that they were more long shots than guys like Max Scherzer for sure.
Well, Robbie Ray was an absolute stud this season for the Toronto Blue Jays. And again, that team is filled with a ton of talent. They've got two candidates for NL MVP. They've got two NL MVP, two AL candidates for MVP in Marcus Semien and Vlad Guerrero Jr. But look, if this was a season outside of Shohei Ohtani doing what he did, you might give it to one of the Blue Jays. But this is a lock for Shohei Ohtani. I mean, this could be a unanimous decision, Matt.
I believe it'll be close. It might be like Ray getting 29 of the 30 Cy Young votes. Look, Ohtani would have had an MVP case if he was just a hitter and he hit the 46 home runs and he had the 25 stolen bases and he's right with Vlad in the slugging percentage. But to add on top of that being an all-star caliber pitcher, you just can't make the case that anybody else was more valuable than him. There's only so much one guy can do, and he did as much as one guy could possibly do to hold the Angels up and win 77 games when Mike Trout and Anthony Rendon were hurt almost all year. It was basically a one-man show, and they still won 77 games. It's an unbelievable season. It's historically good. Any superlative you want to throw on Shohei Ohtani, you have to do that. And it's kind of a shame that Vlad had the season he did, because in a lot of other years he would have won MVP with this season. Instead, I think it's going to be pretty unanimous. Ohtani 1, Vlad 2, and Semien 3, the top three there. But, kudos to Vladimir Guerrero Jr. on the season he had, because he would be an MVP, like I said, in a lot of other years. And actually, if he was in the National League, he would win the award with ease.
Yeah, it's not a lock in the National League. I mean, it's Juan Soto, it's Fernando Tatis Jr., who for most of the season was the MVP. Then he goes down with the injury. Also, Bryce Harper, one of the candidates as well. It's a little more wide open in the National League. Who's going to be winning the MVP on Thursday in the NL?
I have a feeling it's going to be Bryce Harper. He closed better, and a lot of times the recent memory is what sticks in the mind of a lot of voters. And I think that with the Padres having such an extreme collapse, I know the Phillies were in first in the early August and then fell back a little bit and finished several games behind the Braves. But I just feel like there's a lot of push for Bryce Harper toward the end of the year. And with the Padres collapse and Tatis getting in that fight in the dugout with Manny Machado, which I don't think is a big deal, but I think some people might hold that against him. So I think we're going to see Bryce 1 and Tatis 2. I would have gone Tatis 1 and Bryce 2, but I think that Tatis is going to get dinged for the last few months.
Bryce Harper looking to win his second MVP award. He won the NL MVP in 2015 and looking to add to that in 2021. All right, here's a look at the awards handed out thus far. Rookie of the Year was Randy Arozarena and Jonathan India in the National League. Kevin Cash, Gabe Kapler, your Managers of the Year. And the Cy Youngs on this night, Robbie Ray and Corbin Burnes. The MVP awards will be announced on Thursday night.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.